This is episode number 39 of the BS Machine. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. On this episode today, I literally fronted up to the microphone and I had a guest that was booked in, but she didn't make it on. So I'm interviewing her next week. So I just thought, you know what? I'll rock up to the mic and tune in and just see what sort of rolls out. And usually when I do this, that I just front up to something and tune in and just sort of stay with the moment. That there's always some really nice magic that sort of comes out of me. And it's not even me. I just sort of open myself up to the ether and tune into my greatness, and then this beautiful wisdom just comes rushing in, and I just become the vehicle, like this Buddha-like creature that just streams information from the heavens through me and into you. So whatever you are listening to right now, you are meant to listen to this podcast because you've got this far, and I've committed to creating a little bit of magic for you. And so this is going to be it. So here we go. I'm just going to let this stream roll through me as it does, because I'm totally open, totally exposed, totally vulnerable, and ready for the wisdom to come through. So here we go, guys. It is halfway through the year. It's like, what is it, June, somewhere in the middle of June 20, June 21, something around that. But 2021, and we're halfway through the year. So halfway through the year, what is it that happens? End of financial year, all the sales and all that type of stuff. But what really happens is we sort of get to halfway through the year and you're like, holy shit, I'm halfway through the year again. And it happens so fucking quick, doesn't it? It's like Christmas and then this and then this and this, and halfway through the year. And before we know it again, it's going to be fucking Christmas again. And then we're doing it all again. So the reason that I'm here with you today and that I'm sharing with you today is that at this time of the year, it's such a good time to really notice what your patterns are. And I already know that this podcast is going to be about patterns. So thank you, Buddha-like universe, whatever coming through me. So the patterns that we are creating in life are unbelievably consistent. And when we create patterns, if you really look into your life, there is certain times where you have a result, and if you look back over it, there's a certain pattern that you followed that got you to that end result. And so most of the time, a lot of us are moving through life not aware of these patterns. And when we're not aware of these patterns, we are pretty much fucked, because it's what happens is that these unconscious patterns are the ones that are starting to create a life for you without you having any awareness around it. But when you do have awareness around patterns, then it becomes so fucking cool, because you can almost step by step work out exactly what's going to happen next if you follow the patterns in life. Let me give you an epic example. One of my clients is such an epic guy. He's such an awesome guy, and he's this incredible entertainer, and I just love him. He's just this. Every time he comes to the stage, he just brings this incredible amount of energy, and he creates all this joy and happiness in the world. But behind the scenes, he is an absolute fucking mess. And what happens with him is that he creates this pattern. It's probably like a 15 or 20 step pattern, which we actually worked through in one of our sessions, where he basically gets the opportunity to go for a gig, right? Or to put himself out there for an event or a gig or whatever. And then he gets the gig, and then he goes through these 15 or 20 steps, which absolutely destroys this beautiful human of a man. And he goes through the process, but every single time at the end of the process, he is he gets to this point at the end of the process where he's given all of himself, and it ends up being this electrifying gig, this electrifying event where people are out of their chairs and they're clapping. It's like, whoa, he killed it, and they're absolutely loving it. They're loving what he's put forward. And so every single time he gets to this, the end of it is that he has an incredible experience. But the fucked up thing is that from the moment he gets the opportunity for the gig to the moment where he has this electrifying moment where he gets on the stage and has the gig and it just happens for him and everything comes together, the in-between place is he literally tortures himself. Not tortures, like puts himself on fire, like tortures. Tortures. And so we went through this pattern, and it was so interesting to see that every single step in the process is basically him putting himself deeper into this place of not deserving, or of just not believing that he's going to get to the end result of this epic gig. And so it's just so important. And in this session, he sort of reminded me of the patterns that are in my life. And so if you really go through it, and you have a look and you dive a little bit deeper into what happens in your life, and when you're sitting in fucking drama, and drama is a really good place to sort of have a look at things, because they're the moments when you're dysfunctionally being a person that is creating, like you're creating life out of your patterns, right? So yeah, if you really look at yourself and you're experiencing drama, whether the drama is at work, whether the drama is with friends, the drama could be in your relationships. But if you really look into it, you'll start to realize that you go through this 10 or 15 step dysfunctional process that basically gets you to the drama. Now, if you really get specific in this process, what you will see is that the next time you start to experience this sort of situation, even before you get to it, so once you're at the step one, the top step, you'll start to see what the next step is going to be, and then the step after, and then the step after. So then what you can do is, if the next step is you having a fucking breakdown, then that breakdown is coming. So what you can do is almost ready yourself that you're about to have a fucking full conniption, or you're going to have a situation where everything falls apart. Now, when you're aware of it, what happens then is that it's almost like if you know that the drama is coming, it makes it null and void because it's not unexpected. And then if you know that the drama is coming and it comes, you're like, hey, fuckwit, I knew you were coming and I'm ready for you. And the way that you get yourself ready for these situations or for these steps in the process is that you know that it's coming, so you get yourself ready. You have all the tools available to you. You know what it is that pulls you out of drama. And usually what happens is that when you get into your heart and you start creating from your heart, then you are not in your dysfunction, because either of two things are happening in each moment. You're either creating the moment out of fear, or you're creating the moment out of love. And you might have heard this a number of times before, but it's fucking true. And it might sound general, or it might sound like it's like, yeah, you got to create from your heart, but it's not fucking general. If you really look into it, it is not general. What it is so specific. Every single moment, really think about it. That's why I'm repeating myself. Every single moment, you are either creating life out of love, or you are creating you are creating life out of fear. And then where that goes is that when you're creating life out of fear, obviously what you're going to create is shit around you that you're not going to enjoy. If you're creating life out of love, then what you're going to create is life or experiences that you enjoy. Now, the challenge for all of us human beings is that when we're creating the moment from love, it's fucking scary, because when we're creating the moment out of love, it feels like uncharted territory. It feels like there is no no process for you to move through, because that's what usually happens when we're creating out of love and we're creating out of what we actually want to experience. Then it's like there's no roadmap, because what that means when you're creating out of love is that you're expanding your boundaries. Because once you create a certain amount of love and joy in your life, then that becomes the norm, doesn't it? So if you're going to create even more magically and even more, you're going to know that if you're uncomfortable and insecure and you're not sure what to do moving forward, or you feel mediocre, or you feel like you're not enough, then that shows that you're on the right fucking path, because you're expanding, you're moving forward. And when you're creating out of fear, then it feels normal, doesn't it? Because when you're creating the moment out of fear, then it feels normal, because we're fucking used to being scared, and we're fucking used to being in fear, and we're used to being stagnant, So if you're feeling stagnant, the funny fucking thing is that when you're feeling stagnant, it's pretty much the same as, it's just as frustrating as feeling like you are, what's the word? What's the word that I used before? You know the word, but I'm going to say it now. It's the same as feeling like you are uncertain. There it is. So creating out of fear, it's just as hard as creating out of uncertainty, right? So we are definitely getting somewhere with this. So then what it is that you want to look for is, or the choice you want to make is, if they're both exactly the same, they feel just as uncomfortable, stagnancy and uncertainty, then if they're both the fucking same, why wouldn't you choose uncertainty? Because if you did choose uncertainty, that when you go with uncertainty, at least at the end of that, you're going to feel like awesome, because you're creating new shit and you're expanding your life, and you're being, you're creating joy, excitement, fucking creating adventure, and that's what you want to go towards. So really the choice in each moment is, am I going to be a stagnant fucker that just stays safe and just, stay safe pretty much? Or am I going to be one of those people that knows that I can go towards uncertainty, sit in that uncertainty and move forward and be a fucking genius and be a person that has the courage to step into that? So in terms of patterns, this is where it comes back to, because what the patterns actually want us to do is, when you're in a pattern in any area of your life, the patterns are keeping us stagnant, aren't they? And when we're staying stagnant, life is just normal. Life is, it's the same as last year or the last week or fucking last 10 years, and it doesn't matter how old you are. It is time for all of us. It's that time now. There's no better time like the present to get into this balanced space in life, where you're like sitting in the middle of this scale, and each moment of each day, each time you wake up, you're sitting in the middle of this scale, and you look to the right and you see stagnancy and fear and all that type of shit, yeah? And you look to the left and you see uncertainty, which still has this element of fear to it, but it's good fucking fear, because the fear is like, oh my God, I'm about to create all this exciting stuff, but what if it all fucks up? Well, what if it does fuck up? Like, that'd be fucking awesome, because if it fucks up, then what that means is that you've learned a lesson. However, here in this space of fear, nothing can really fuck up, because you're going, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go into this little bubble of fear and just sit in the bubble of fear, and then I'll just sit in that, and I know exactly how that feels, so I'll just sit in it and be in it and blah, 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 right? So Guys, what are we learning? I'm learning so much here myself too. So how cool is this? Yeah, we're all fucking learning. So what I'm learning is that when you look at these patterns and you go into it, and what I mean by going into it is literally get a pen, get a paper, and go, what is one of the things in my life where I keep experiencing the same thing? And then you go, okay, so I'm experiencing this same experience, right? I'm going to get my pen and paper and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write down the actual pattern, the step-by-step process. So what happens? Number one, I meet a guy or I meet a girl. Number two, I get all excited and blah, 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 blah. And then number three, I start feeling doubt and I'm like, oh my God, what if I'm not enough for this person? Number four, I give my power away and do things in this relationship or with this person that I don't actually want to do, but I'm just doing it so they fucking like me for me, and they, and then I feel like shit. Step number six, I feel like shit and I start fucking, being regretful that I even got into this relationship. And then step seven is that, he or she starts to see me as someone that's weak, and they text me and say, hey, you know what? I actually can't hang out this weekend because I've got some bullshit excuse. And then step eight, blah, 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 and it just keeps going. And then you get to the end where you end up being on your own, or you end up being in a situation where you feel like shit, you miss this person and you fucked up another relationship. Another example, work. What about work? So let's say, I don't know, we all have jobs or we all have things that we do. So we're working on a project and we get an opportunity for a project and we go through, it's the same pattern every time where we get all excited and we go into the project and blah, blah, blah. And then the pattern is that someone ends up stealing the project away from underneath you and they get all the credit. Happens all the fucking time. It used to happen to me so much when I was in the music industry, where I'd come up with an idea and it'd be so cool and we'd create a song around it, blah, blah, blah. And I'd create this moment in the band where we'd be, on stage and the guys in the band would be saying, yeah, I wrote this song, I wrote this song, I wrote this song. Bullshit. Did they? Probably. Did I? Probably. Did we write it together? Yes. Was it a fun experience? Yes. But who gets the credit? Not fucking me, right? So it is such a divisive moment here for all of us. And not just because I'm saying it's the time of the year and it's not that. It's every fucking moment is our time. Every fucking moment is our fucking time. So all I'm asking of all of us, all I'm looking for here is for us to take a courageous dive into what's actually going on. Take a courageous dive into your patterns. Have a look, because this whole dance of fear and love and moment to moment, you can look at this like it's a really general and spiritual type of thing, or you can look deeper into it and go, fuck man, there's enough people talking about this shit for me to actually look at it and go into it. Now, excuse me, there's a burp. Fucking, there you go. Do you know what? Someone actually wrote to me on in YouTube. I think it was on my YouTube channel, where they go, do you know what I enjoy most about your podcast? I love that you sometimes burp in your podcast. I'm like, there you go, eh? It's just like all this wisdom that I'm providing, and what they get out of it is that I burp on my podcast. Like, is that what this has become? Anyway, back to it. So, guys, there's this epic solution that we all have at our fingertips, and we all are at the precipice of greatness in every single moment. Now, it's going to be for you a choice, not just for you, for me, in life right now, where you have these things in the back of your mind, or you've got a project or something that you've already started, and you're getting guidance on what to do next in terms of stepping towards a love-filled life, like a life where you're creating a moment-to-moment experience, not based on your dysfunctional, fucked up fear, but based on love, where you're creating out of love. So that is really the question that you should be asking yourself. So step one, have a look at these patterns, go into them, write them the fuck down, and know what's coming next. 5 steps, 10 steps, whatever you can get to. And by the way, guys, if you want help with this and you're not sure how to go into it, just fucking give me a call, hit me up, send me a text, whatever you want, and I will help you out with this. I will help you because it's so important, because I know that when I do this, holy shit, man, so much epicness comes out of it. Can you just wait a sec? Because I've got to not restart my computer, just open it up. Wait. All right, we're still recording. Good. So, yeah, hit me up anytime, but whatever. So, okay, so the next step after this is we have to understand that we are all powerful human beings. We are all powerful human beings. So in those moments where you are fearing something, in those moments where you are scared about going towards the love, you're a powerful fucking human being. You have exactly the same things available to you that the Dalai Lama has. You have exactly the same things available to you. You've got the same tools, the same skin, the same body. Do you know, by the way, I just remembered this, that I actually learned this about 10 years ago, that every single human being in the world, with all our cells and everything like that, and all the shit that we can't see, every single human being in the world sheds all their skin, they shed all their everything. And I think it takes like 2 or 3 months. But what I learned is that within a course of a year, you become a part of every single human being that lives on this planet. So every human being becomes a part of you, and you become a part of them. From the cells and everything that you shed, they take on, and then they shed their stuff and other people take it on. So it's this constant connection that we have to every other human being in the world. So that means that the person that you look up to, they're fucking part of you. Like physically, they have a part of you in them and a part of them in you. The Dalai Lama, Tony Robbins, the fucking Eckhart Tolle, all these guys that are like super duper spiritual and super duper aware, and they've just got their shit nailed. These guys are fucking part of you. Like they are part of your skin. Like they're in you and you're in them. And so we all have exactly the same opportunity as every single person that you look up to, or every single opportunity that the people that you judge yourself against. So just imagine that for a second, that the Dalai Lama is actually in you at the moment. The energy, the fucking skin, all of him, he's in you. And so just imagine what that actually means, and you're in him. And so if you look into that a little bit deeper, what that means is that when we realize that we're all connected to each other on such a deeper level than what we can actually fathom within our small little pea brains, then it just becomes so evident that all we're really here to do is to push the boundaries every day, to open ourselves up a little bit more and push those boundaries even further. And if you're not pushing your boundaries, you are fucking dying. But you know what the funny thing is that if you are pushing your boundaries, you are also dying. We are all heading towards death. And when we realize that it doesn't matter whether you're doing nothing or whether you're doing heaps, we're still going towards death. But the power in that is that if we're going to fucking die anyway, then why the fuck not would we die in a way where we get to the end of the life and we're like, that was fucking heaps of fun. How awesome was that? Yes, that's exactly what I want. And so we've got to use our ability to really have this have this way of sitting in this space between the two scales and be able to balance life out and be in it. And if you're you know, I'm just going to finish up soon because I feel like that's what we've got for today. But if you're, you know, the key is, if you are in a place where you feel like you're stagnant, it's your own fucking fault, you know. And if you feel like you're in a place where you're creating out of love, you're probably not even listening to this podcast because you know, you've already know this shit and you're living it. So my words probably wouldn't be, and it's not a judgment. Don't take this as a judgment. Don't be like, oh, well, what are you saying? I'm fucked up. No, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that this is the stuff I'm listening to. This is the stuff I'm doing, and we're all in the same fucking boat. Okay, so I'm not judging you because I'm in the same boat. And so let's create out of love, guys. Let's go into it. Let's really commit, not committing to making $1 million or $100 million or whatever. Fucking commit to living a life where you are pushing the boundaries, because that's all we're here to do. I fucking love you, and I'm gonna just go do that. And I hope you do too, because it's a really special time to be alive. And thank you. And I have so much gratitude that I get to talk into this microphone every single week. And guys, please share the podcast. Please share it. It'll be on YouTube as well, on my YouTube channel. You can get me on Instagram under Tommy Kendi. You can get me on Facebook and all that type of stuff. Everything's basically just Tommy Kendi. And yeah, I just love you, and I'm really excited to meet you guys. And also, I just want to say to those of you that are sharing the podcast, it's fucking cool. Every day when I get those little, you know, notifications, this person shared your podcast or that person, and you know, I get little comments and whatever. It fucking warms my heart. It really does, because usually I don't know who the people are, and I'm like, woo! I got out to another person. And that is just warms my heart, because I do this podcast out of pure love, you know, and it makes me hold myself accountable, and that's all I want for you guys. Just hold yourself accountable. Love you dearly, and thank you, and have an epic week. Until next time, I'm Tommy Kendi, your host at the BS Machine. Mwah.